What I think significant, Majid, they have not imposed a new deadline. So she didn't say we've got 4 more days or 3 days. She said we're going to go the extra mile. I think this could go right to the end of December the 30th, December the 31st, because I think the EU is desperate for a deal, and I think it feels to me, have blinked first.
When you say they're desperate for a deal, what is it that they are desperate to attain? Is it the 39 billion? Because, of course, if we leave with no deal, they don't get that, do they?
They don't get the money, but also they are desperate to prevent Britain in a post-EU world having corporation tax rates slashed to 8%, so we become the Singapore of Europe. We attract huge inward investment and we become a major trading nation. I think that is one of the key areas of dispute between us and them, because the whole point, of course, of leaving the European Union, I voted to leave, as you know, Majid, was it's not just about sovereignty and getting laws, but so we can have our own economic policy, and that's a huge sticking point. I've always thought we were going to have a big bust up over the fish. It's hugely symbolic, very totemic, but in terms of value, it's less than 1% of our trade with the European Union. But I think this is going to go right to December the 30th, and if you ask me if there's going to be a deal, I don't know. I feel much less pessimistic about a deal since this morning, because I thought today it was going to be all over and we leave on world trade tariff terms on January the 1st. But it's pretty squeaky pants time, isn't it? Because there ain't long to go.
Can I ask you, if we end up, there's two factors to this in terms of accepting the deal that, if we get one, that the Prime Minister comes back with over a no-deal scenario. I've long been of the view that I voted Remain, as you know, Andrew, but we're either in or out as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly.
And having accepted the democratic mandate of Brexiters, at this stage, it's in our interest to make sure we get the best in the situation we find ourselves in. So if the Prime Minister comes back with a deal, there are two factors that I'd consider that I'd like to ask your opinion on. First is, as you've said, how strictly does it bind us still to regulations that we have no say over and no seat at the table for or in devising? The second is, of course, if you add this 39 billion, that's a cost that would presumably need to be added to the benefits of any deal the Prime Minister comes back with. And it's difficult to see such a large sum of money, if indeed they still are expecting that large sum of money, once added to a deal. It's difficult to see how the British public may stomach that. So what does happen if we get a deal with that large sum of 39 billion?
Well, that's why I think I think Boris Johnson is, of course, he says he wants a deal, but he's also looking at his own survival. There will be Tory MPs will turn on him with a vengeance, because if he comes back with a deal that ties us still to the European Union, to their wretched regulations and competition terms, I think it's unacceptable. And Nigel Farage will come returning to the fore. And I think Boris Johnson's premiership could come to a very abrupt end. I think it's that serious for him personally. But for the country, we now know that we almost certainly, if it's less than 50-50, isn't it, we're going to have a deal. And I think people are beginning to wake up to what a deal with Brussels means. It means it's not really Brexit, Maajid. It's not really Brexit. So he's got to stand firm on the fishing. He's got to say we do not want the European Court policing any trade deals we do. We've got a very good judiciary in this country. But the competition thing is the real key here. And if Boris comes back and the EU has tied his hands so that the Chancellor can't do radical, innovative stuff on tax, he's finished.